Okay, so this midnight rambling is about the time I worked in the hospitality. There's going to be a few of them. This is track one. When I was young and about in my early 20s, I worked for hospitality in one of the local hotels. There's, there's a reason I am very hesitant about staying at hotels anymore, and why I do all sorts of weird checks for bed bugs, and, well, that's all a different story, but this one, I think, takes the cake. Actually, no, that's another one that takes the cake, but this one prepares you for the wonderful, delicious cake that's to come. So, when I first worked for this place, I worked there twice. The first time I worked as a night auditor. So the job of a night auditor is the same job as the day shift. You check people in, but you're obviously at night, alone. And you have to run the accounts, and you have to make sure nothing goes wrong with the guests. You have to be there to answer their emergencies in case something happens. Yeah. So just kind of preface that when you're night auditor in a hotel, in a small town hotel, you're there alone. So young person me is there alone for this story. And to give a bit of context, the hotel was not run very well. There was a Best Western, and Best Westerns are each individually owned by different people. These people lived out in a completely different state. They were weasels, and they allowed oilfield workers. They booked oilfield workers in their hotel. Now, oilfield workers are just like any other people. They're nice until they party. So we have 20 oilfield workers there at night, and they would host parties outside. They would have these bonfires, almost like barbecues with loud music, and yeah, wonderful for the rest of the guests. There was a night that the hospital across the street called to complain about the noise from their party. So imagine me, who's there alone, who is this 20-something young person who has more body fat than oilfield workers have muscle, and I have to go out there and tell 20 drunken oilfield workers their music is too loud. I don't know how I survived. I go out there, and I look for the most sober-looking person. And thinking, this is it. This is where I'm going to die. They're going to find my body beaten to a pulp in the back of, a pickup out in the desert. And as I'm saying, in the most kind and wonderful tone that I can muster, because back then I was young and too kind for my own good. Nowadays, I would have... I'm not even going to lie. I'd still react the exact same way, because there are 20 drunken oilfield workers all having a good time, and I have to be the one to tell them to tone it down. One of them's getting uppity in my face, as I'm talking with someone who looks sober and vaguely in charge. I don't even know if he is, but he's not... At least he's not the drunken guy telling me, hey man, do you know how much we pay for this place? And do you know how I handle that situation? Now, it's very interesting. I talked to one of the maintenance people about it later on. He said, oh yeah, what you do is you shove the guy towards the leader. You never pick a fight with the leader. You want to always show them respect. And you just tell them, hey, you deal with this. And I'm like, no. Here's what I did. I ignored him. Out of my own safety, I focused on the guy and said, please, just turn the music down, won't you? That would be so wonderful. Please don't stab me in the face with a knife as well. Oh, I was paid minimum wage for that job.